Welcome in to turn 47. So we got enchantment 8 and we're going up to Guy's Blessing. So it's going to give universal resist in battle, right? Fire, shock, cold, and poison. And it just seems like a good universal spell to have for our blockers since they're so vulnerable to evocations, and now they're going to have Iron Skin as well, right? So that's going to be our next level 9 spell. We cast some summons there. We did some Mind Hunts against those unseen ones. Bella here managed to resist, and Tella did as well. So unfortunate. And then yeah, Victoria casts Cloud Trapeze. So she magic phases in onto the golem, taste of his own medicine, put a little PD in here, has the same items, right? So 80 gem investment here. And yeah, we're just gonna cast lightning bolts while we do our buff script. And she decides to cast fireball there, but that's fine. Like, our fatigue's still very low. And we take care of the PD very quickly. And then we stun the golem with lightning bolts. It doesn't even get into melee, and it goes down pretty quick. So very good trade for us in the end. Virtue does her job. Thank you. You are our queen, right? But check this out. A report from Exobethia. Suddenly an enormous blizzard appeared out of nowhere. Yeah, out of nowhere, right? Okay. And struck the army. 325 units were hit, and of these, 294 units were killed. So our first murdering winter, and it is as devastating as we thought it would be. I think we had 400-ish units in this army, so it doesn't kill everybody, but it kills a lot of mages, a lot of troops, and this was Dromon for sure. Like, they were in range, and Famini could have acquired a Water 3 mage and given it 2 boosters and paid 40 gems to cast the spell, but that seems very unlikely. So Dromon is not attacked yet, but they could. They could any turn. And there's a lot of battles here, and I feel like I'm gonna just look at the map first. We might spoil some things, but I get kind of confused about which one is which sometimes. Um, but I'll do the events first. So in Grey Mountains, people find solace in our temple. That's nice. And Hippocampus Fortune, we counteract the Necromancer, also good. In Dragoscale Mountains, one of our agents, when lost in the mist, find a cache of gems and item of power. It's a terrible item for skill boots. Like, we don't care at all. Gives the unit river walking. And then actually accidentally give it to Obscuro, the mercenary, and he won't give it back. So he's just going to have this now. And then 4 air gems, sure. And then in both Blightlands and Trensibor, brigands have taken up residence, so they might attack, but we'll deal with that as it comes. And then somewhere the silver sarcophagus has been found and opened, and I don't know what that means for whoever found it, but for everyone else it's very bad. Death +2 and units affected by disease. So we have a way to cure that with our sisters, but most nations probably don't. So hopefully it kills some other people's mages. And yeah, just looking at the map, like, so Exobethia is where Murdering Winter happened, right next to Jomon, but our army still marches on, and we surprisingly have our blockers like all in the right place. But mage-wise, yeah, we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mages and 3 popes. We kept our Prester King, so I guess that's nice. But I don't think they coordinated because Femini did not patrol, and they just have some PD here. And so even with our decimated force and our broken communion, like, we still get the victory, and just lose a few more troops. But being that as it may, and knowing that Femini still has a cache of knights and whatnot, we are going to retreat here because if they come in with a big stack and a big communion and whatnot, like, this is not enough to hold off. So we're going to retreat there, but that's fine. And then, yeah, and we did talk to Atlantis, and we agreed to nap up. So this is the Suicide Squad we've had on Enkenfell for so long, and we marched this onto the throne. And so I know it's spoiled there a little bit, but Femini did patrol, so they have some sorceresses here, some knights, and we get good body ethereal coverage, right? All our defenders there, but Falling Fires doesn't care about body ethereal, but they do their job. They block. the knights here, while our remaining popes and mages hopefully can do the job. And their sorceresses cast combustion instead of falling fires on our mages, which is great. So they're slowly burning alive. Can we hold on? We get the route, so the sorcerers they run away. So they're gonna retreat back into the fort, and we get some heavenly strikes off. Looks like she manages to resist, so they all get away. And so they're gonna have 4 sorceresses, but we kill the knights, and we just lose a couple troops. So not bad for us. Atlantis themselves marches onto Rhyolitha. I'd hope they'd, I'm like, take all this land. But they march this way first, which is fine. They're putting pressure on a fort. And in Snowford here, like, we saw those 4 sorceresses retreat, and then in Trackless Wastes, they moved off their archmages, and so they either moved them into Snowford to protect them, or there was a fort next door in Olier as well. But either way, in case they decide that with better scripting with those mages that they could take on that force, we're bringing in Virtue, and she'll kill anything they come, even the archmages. Like, protection from fire, she's gonna have 25 fire resist. She'll be fine. And not the best magic resist, but hopefully good enough. And she's gonna have Phoenix Pirate, and if she does go down, right? And she's got the lucky shield. So she should kill the mages, and we're bringing in 10 Grey Eagles to help us crack, because it's just a Palisades, and I don't know why. It's been a Palisades for many, many turns. Like, why didn't they upgrade? It's like on a throne. Like, it's very strange. But this could be a prize for us. So even though we're retreating from Midland, we're putting pressure on Snowford, and then we're going to put pressure on Genemia as well. So this is our smaller army, if you can believe it, than what got Murdering Wintered. But again, they don't patrol, so it's just PD. But we can see our beautiful formation here, right? Like, all our popes and our little communion, and we're reinforcing with some extra mages next turn. And I think I move our defenders a little further forward. But we're actually not keeping this army on the fort. We're marching them off. And same with like Midland, we do want to see how Famini responds to our armies, right? In terms of what's, because we haven't seen, like, earlier in the game when they were attacking Utgard, we saw them commit a lot of gems, a lot of mages, right? And we haven't seen that from them yet. When they attacked with that big army of knights, they didn't have gems, they didn't go into communion, so we haven't seen what they're planning yet. And so we're taking that big army, and we're marching into Dardania here to kind of, one, cut off Ulm a little bit, and start to put pressure on the capital. And if Ulm does attack next turn, like, and bumps us, like, we're gonna have a big communion. I think we'll be just fine in stopping them, because they probably won't expect it. But so far they haven't attacked, so they've just kept this army here. They might be deciding to break our nap instead of marching on Famini. So, but either way, we're marching off to put pressure, and we're bringing in the Pale Ones here, who take this PD no problem. But we do have, some popes, a couple mages, and actually, I had some mages set on retreat. I don't remember doing that. But we're on retreat. I think they all survive. Let me see. Okay, good. So they get dispersed, but they're fine. They live. So we're marching them onto Genemia, and if Famini, like, we don't know if they have armies here, and if they do have something in Barren Crags that they plan to come into Genemia next turn, like, they would likely, because they'll be prepping for our big army with gems and everything, and so they'll definitely kill. Oh my goodness, hotkeys! They'll definitely kill this, right? But so in response to that, we're actually bringing in the Golem. So with 30 fire resist and 22 magic resist, like, their sorceresses are not going to be able to kill the Golem, and their knights won't even be able to hurt it with 31 protection, pierce, and slash resist, right? So if they do come in, like, I like our chances. We might still lose a bunch of Pale Ones, in the end, depending on how their mages target things and whatnot. Um, but we should win the battle and kill a bunch of troops that way if they do come in. And we'll be bringing in enough siege strength to crack it next turn because we have already. There were no troops in the fort itself because where is it? In Genemia, we already moderately damaged the fort, so they retreated any troops that they had here, at least temporarily, because at the time, like 160 siege strength is not a ton to get moderately damaged, like if they had troops there. So anyways, that's the assumption. That's how we're going to approach that. And then we're also going to ping with a scout Baron Crags to see if they've moved troops across the mountain range here for the following turn. I'm also going to finally ping where the Necromancer is, because we do want to kill the Necromancer at some point. So I want to see what kind of mage support's in there, or just what the Necromancer himself looks like. So I think that's everything to really talk about here. We see their vampire that Femini got somehow counter-rated, and we're going to try to soul slay that with Mind Hunt. We take the underground provinces back with our hash mails, and there's actually a couple mages left over, which the hash mail kills, so that's nice. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Jomon has these forces here. If they attack next turn, are going to get some more troops beforehand. But before we end the turn, there's a battle at the fortress of Marion. And there she is. So it's the Ananuki of level more and their golem with some mages to point buff. One dies instantly from arrow fire before she can get off arrow ward. We're gonna have body ethereal. We're gonna have the whole thing here. And we saw what was in the fort last time. They summoned in some imps, which killed the rest of the mages there. But this Ananuki's, it's just super buffed, right? So it has Awe 3, regen 10%, bunch of resist, only 5 cold resist. Not the highest resist, but good enough. Along with ethereal, fire shield, air shield, has reinvigoration, right? A bunch of experience. And the golem is, pretty hardy itself. Also has ethereal on, right? Of course. And she also gets Strength of Gaia, so it's going to have 20% regen. And we don't see any battlefield-wide spells yet. Ooh, and there come some gifts from heaven, so that could take her out. And she gets off Howl. Just going to make her pretty tired, but she has 7 reinvigoration total, right? So that'll come down. And Golem also surrounded. He's doing just fine. He's got 2 ways to entangle troops, right? AoE attack. More gifts from heaven, and then she flies him back. And all the troops have run away. Oof. Yeah, look at those gifts from heaven. They fall right next to her. Right next to her again. They don't get the virtue either. Look at how close these are. So there's just craters all around her. Oof, they're really trying. Goes to show how lucky it was that William Pitt gets hit, right, from Femini, but pretty lucky there. Oof, again, that looked like it hit her. So just a ton. And now she's surrounded by these guys who do hit hard enough to get through protection, but with ethereal and the regen, like, they're not gonna be able to take her out. Lightning bolt's not doing enough. And the gifts from heaven, they stop coming in. The golem's still doing just fine back here. It's like totally topped off. And we don't see any wolves yet, right? Like, they don't come from this side. They're flooding the field back here. They're getting through. The golem comes in to assist, and Virtue starts targeting it with lightning bolts, and it's taking some damage. She could kill it. I mean, we just saw that story, right? Lightning bolts against the golem. It doesn't have any lightning resist. Ooh. Ooh, gonna be very close. The Ananuki flies off. The golem is retreated, I guess. I don't know what it's doing. It's all over the place. It gets stunned. 12 hit points. The stun run wears off. Very, very lucky for the golem to survive, and then the Ananuki comes in and just kills Virtue. So very lucky for Marignon. Like, could have lost the golem at least, and the Ananuki almost gets sniped multiple times. But from our perspective, like, unless Arcocephali decides to turn on us, we like this outcome. We'd rather them be strong. We just want someone else to go to war, not with us. That'll relieve pressure, no matter who it is. And you've got to believe that Ulm is public enemy #1. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining. Imagine that. Welcome in, turn 48. Wow. Our heralds into Atlantis has returned. They accepted our non-aggression pact. That's great. It's just going to take some pressure off of us. And, you know, they're not a threat to win. A couple mine hunts here. Oscagoth, which I believe was the vampire, managed to resist. And then Tella, one of the unseen ones, we succeeded. So she's gone. And then our second one on Oscagoth was successful. So we soul slay the vampire. Very nice for us. Some summons here. And Illwinter again. Like, tell us the global enchantment. Give us a little story. So what this really reminds me of is that I keep neglecting to tell you what these global enchantments are that haven't been announced, and there's been 3 of them, right? And they're big, and this is the biggest one. So I got to talk to you guys about that this turn. I won't leave you in suspense much longer. And we have another Magic Phase battle in this very popular Chillad. So Femini had another golem ready to go, and this one is Magic Being Begone, the golem. So geared up to kill us, or to kill Virtue specifically. Has this Moonblade, very good stats, 4 attack, 5 defense, good damage, and an extra 10 armor negating damage for his magic beings. And then, you know, we've seen this gear before, but also can fly with the wing shoes. Doesn't want to waste time moving with that slow combat speed, right? And the Ring of Tame Lightning to protect against our lightning bolts. And again, Chains of Reconstruction. And so, yeah, gonna be pretty tough for us to stop, right? And then our first Sage Queen that we've seen. And there's our Virtue. And we expected her to fly away, so we scripted her a little differently to attack rear instead of advancing cast. And if she was able to cast spells this battle, well, we'll see what happens. So they both fly the same round, and we miss each other, and Virtue kills the Sage Queen in 1 hit. So that's nice. And then we fly off again. Those illusions are just disappearing. We're finally gonna fight. Oh, maybe. And yeah, we get hit pretty hard with that first strike. We have a lot less hit points, right? Because we're not in as much Dominion as before. And yeah, this Frostbrand's it's not gonna do enough damage, right? With Reconstruction, the lightning bolts aren't doing enough. And yeah, we go down pretty fast, but we have Phoenix Pyre, right? But we probably got killed fast because we were paralyzed, right? So the Astral Shield, our magic resist is pretty good, but not good enough to be immune to it for sure. And so I'm not sure why the golem. Oh, he's fighting some PD. That's why he doesn't fly in. We fly back. And interestingly, look how low our fatigue is after Phoenix Pyre. It's been a few rounds since we exploded, right? But with 6 reinvigoration, we could die a couple times. But again, we're just not doing any damage to the golem. It's hitting us despite having, you know, we have a lot more defense, right? And then we get paralyzed again, and we're down to 4 hit points. So with 0 defense, it's gonna have no problem hitting us. And it actually misses a couple times, which is funny. And then we run away. So maybe pretty lucky there. Like, I don't think we could have killed him, no matter how many times we resurrected with Phoenix Pyre, right? So we fly away and successfully to Midland, right? And there is a battle in Midland. So we retreat first, and then regular battles happen. And this is the fort we retreated from. And Famini just comes in with this little force. Uh, and so we had our one lonely crossbowman we left behind. And we get paralyzed again, just by the sorceress, and for 27 rounds. So kind of crazy. Our magic resist is a little lower because of Dominion penalty, and we're in 2 magic scales here apparently. So we need some magic gear on Virtue for sure, uh, because even if it's unlikely to get hit with a paralyze, like obviously can happen. But we've got the Spirit Helm, so we're still totally fine, even with 0 defense, right? We have enough protection against these knights. And we kill them. So Spirit Helm saving the day on the second fight, even if it did nothing in the first fight, right? But we gotta find a way to deal with that golem. And yeah, so I hope guys like the format of looking at the map instead of just going through all these battles. Because we're gonna do it again. A couple of events first. In good water, more necromancer shit. In Griffa, we lose a bunch of province income, but kind of whatever. And then in Black Alps, that's where the Throne of Fortune is, or Throne of Air, right? Diarrhea is so disgusting. So we lose some province defense there. And then more religious misconceptions in Griffa, and we're actually going to finally patrol this out this turn. We cured a bunch of diseases all over the world now, right? And yeah, one other battle I won't spoil, since I just remember here. So this is where Virtue was supposed to fly into Snowford, where Famini has their throne, and they come out with those sorceresses we saw, plus some unseen ones, and we had some Grey Eagles come in to siege it down, and I put them in line formation because I didn't want them to fly, but there they go. I thought they only flew in box formation. Uh, and they don't land on the mages, so that would have been nice. We got Body Ethereal on them, but Falling Fires doesn't care, and so Famini did intend to Falling Fires our little force here, so which was smart of them. But they're also killing their own troops. And whoops. There's a lot of fire magic. And one sorceress just pieces out. We kill one with crossbow fire, it looks like. And yeah, despite being buffed with displacement and they got the mirror images, like our Great Eagles, can we get one more? Ugh, right before it leaves. We get it. So that worked out for us in Snowford, even without Virtue, right? We lose 8 of the Great Eagles, but killing 3 sorceresses, unseen one, all the sacreds, right? Pretty good for us. So that was here, right? Uh, this is where the Magic Phase battle happened with the Golem, and they could be getting even more Golems. I'm trying to get more scouts onto their remaining forts to see if we can at least see if they have another Golem, right? And so, yeah, with our big army, Dardania, they don't meet us, and then we ping in Barren Crags, and there was nothing coming in to relieve the siege in Genemia. So we're gonna take our Golem away, move our Pale Ones in, and we're continuing to raid with our hash mails. So we feel pretty safe other than this Golem at the moment, and then whatever big army Famini is just holding in reserve, right? So they may never march out with that and just wait till we march on the capital or whatnot, right? But the Golem is a problem, and we're gonna get build gear to counteract it next turn. So I'm taking Virtue to a lab so she can cloud trapeze. From here, I think she can cloud trapeze pretty much anywhere in this vicinity. So wherever the Golem moves next, we can magic phase it and hopefully kill it with the better geared Virtue. And now that it can fly, like it might not even try to go back to a lab to teleport. Like if I were Famini, I might just try to relieve the siege in Snowford with the Golem because we can't fight that Golem. We have no gems, no Earth 2 mages to shatter. right? Um, and it can reach it with those winged boots. So we're actually going to march off of Snowford and try to take the Archmage province again, and bring in a few more Great Eagles just in case. And this time I will have them intentionally fly attack rear to kill any mages that happen to be there. Hopefully, it won't be a big army. But I mean, this is the Suicide Squad, so I figure either way they're going to die to something sooner or later. And yeah, so what are we doing with Virtue? We're building the Smasher, which does. Maybe I'll just. It's better to see the gear. I wish you could see it from that screen. Uh, the Smasher. So it's one-handed weapon, right? And maybe, is there a better two-handed weapon? That's a stun. I don't think so. I'd have to look at every blunt weapon to see, but it does twice the damage of a Frostbrand, right? So it's going to hit harder, and the golems can't resist blunt damage. And then it also does 20 armor negating damage to inanimate beings. So it'll only take 3 or 4 hits from Virtue to kill the golem. And we're also going to build our own meteoric iron. So we'll get +3 magic resist and better protection on the body. And I'm also going to build another iron face to give her iron skin and great protection. So she should be able to withstand those hits a lot better. And kill the golem pretty fast, I hope. um, and since we're retreating to our 7 Dominion, which could, even be 8 potentially next turn, we'll have a lot more hit points. So we just want to be ready wherever the golem goes to snipe it again and continue to march and threaten. Because we're also going to take in a kind of retooled army to maybe kill the golem here in case he decides to come into Midland, right? Whether he's chasing Virtue or just to relieve this fort. And so we're all packed up with bodyguards here, and we have 3 Earth 2 mages that are set up to do shatters, right? Which has very short range, but if it's flying in, it doesn't matter. And then we also have 3 Astral 2 mages, which can, oh my goodness, excuse me, cast Arcane Bolt, right? Which doesn't do a ton of damage, but armor negating, and that combined with Shatter, like, if the golem does come into this here, we might be able to kill it. So we've got a couple options, and just in case it happens to move into Griffin Rock, like, we've got some Shatters scripted here as well as moving our mages around to prevent fly attack rear. So that's the story up here, and with our golem, we're moving it away. Just gonna take on some whites here, but I really want it to be available for Jomon purposes, because the other battle I want to show here was Jomon attacking a throne. So they have 4 of these cap only mages, or underwater mages, right? Slow to recruit, and they have a bunch of gear, gems, and they're set up to cast some battlefield-wide enchantments, right? We see Storm going up right away, and interestingly, there's no mages here. So I guess they got assassinated, which we don't get to see with the scouts. These magic beings are just disintegrating, like the fire snakes run away. And I think there was a pretender chassis on this throne as well, so I don't even know how he assassinated that. Like, maybe he has assassin gear with these Ryujins. Because just a human assassin's not going to do it, right? But they put up Storm, Wrathful Skies, Grip of Winter, and this is going to be very hard to deal with our standing armies, right? We'd have to get a bunch of shock resist, a bunch of water resist, which we can do, but our troops are so slow. Like, we'd also have to get them to fly maybe, and I mean, it's a whole risky endeavor. But if we can kit a golem to take this on, that seems more feasible. Like, we can give our own ring of tamed lightning to a golem, and the armor we currently have on it would give it 25 shock resist, and we could give it enough 15 cold resist all by itself, right? So we could potentially take these on. They do have hammer or earth magic ones that could shatter us, potentially. But how else are we gonna fight this? Virtue, maybe, right? I'd also have to gear her up specifically to do it. But catching them in magic phase is probably the most assured way to kill something like that. So, anyways, they take the throne very easily, right? There's no mages left, and uh, yeah, pretty good for them. So hopefully they'll claim soon, and we can see what level 3 throne that is. And what's this battle? Oh yeah, we ping the Necromancer province, right? We want to see what's in there. Bunch of regular undead, which is not scary, and just a modest amount of whites. And then the Necromancer himself. So it's Mort, the white mage, has a ton of gems, 5 death magic, robe of invulnerability. Not the scariest thing, but still something we gotta deal with. Like that's Skelly spam coming at you. So, uh, and but doesn't have infinite morale. So would rout eventually probably. So I think eventually our golem could take that, but we're gonna play it safe for now. I want him to be available against Jomon because they're definitely gonna attack next turn. I think. I mean, they've got at least one cap only mage in this army, bunch more units. I mean, they're building up a ton of forces, and they can also attack us where we've attacked Femini, right? Whether they want to give those provinces back or not. So we expect a clash. But yeah, on the global stage and global enchantment stage, Andromania, we knew about Mother Oak, right? So they still have that, nature gems. We knew about Eternal Pyre, fire gems, right? But they just this turn cast Arcane Nexus, so this is big time. They have a very high Astral Mage to do this, with even with boosters and whatnot, and just gives tons of pearls, um, based on what everyone else is doing every turn, right? So very good for them. And the other big one that happened a few turns ago, Almcast Blood Moon. So that's why we've had even more misfortune everywhere. And they're just going to get a ton of Blood Slaves with this. And so between those two, well, and then I mean, Andromania has crazy gem income now. So they've got to be Public Enemy 1 and 2. And then in the Discord, they both are kind of like, somebody should deal with this, but they're not fighting about it yet. But we're hoping they will. And when Andromania cast Arcane Nexus, they dispelled. It chooses a random target, right? And it dispels Eyes of God, which Arcus of Folly had up, which is probably fine. We don't need them spying on us. And they probably overcast this by just a ton. So they were stockpiling gems, and yeah, we're glad they're not our neighbor, I suppose. And we knew about Jomon's Earthblood Deepwell, Forge of the Ancients, right? So 1, 2, 3 for sure. And so hopefully Alman Andromania fight and Arcos Folly gets involved somehow in that war. Because we're probably gonna have to fight both Jomon and Femini by ourselves. I mean, Atlantis, they're just being so passive still. Like, where are their armies to go take all this land? They're just content with getting one fortress. um, but that's kind of the global stage. I think we'll definitely see a fight from Jomon next turn. They're in position. They've got great thug capacity, and so I mean, maybe I should just take our golem into a lab right now. Now that I'm like saying it out loud, right? To be ready. That's probably the best move. So I think I'm gonna do that. And we have the gear ready. We'll build a ring of tame lightning, I suppose, instead of getting more great eagles this turn, which is sad, but seems like a necessity. And I don't. You guys don't have to watch me do this, but I hope you join me next time. Imagine that. Thanks.